Hello everyone, my name is Aaron, and this will be my first ever YouTube video. Um, I'm gonna be completely honest. I am not good at this. I am not good at talking on the fly or communicating my thoughts clearly. I'm probably gonna stutter or pause a lot, but it's gonna be a work in progress. But anyway, I'm gonna be trying to make a YouTube channel. Probably gonna be covering a lot of miscellaneous things that interest me and might interest others. Uh, you know, if anyone in the comment section, says something, or if anyone leaves a comment that, excuse me, however, sorry. If anyone leaves a comment that you want me to cover something that I have an interest in or we have a mutual interest in, then by all means, feel free to share your thoughts. But this is sort of my test run, my first ever YouTube video. What I'm gonna be doing today, or in this video, anyways, I'm gonna be trying to give a brief summary of my favorite anime. It's called Death Note. It's my favorite anime ever. I as passionate of Death Note as I am, I have not read the manga, unfortunately. But anyway, this will be a work in progress. But maybe no, I'm sure in the future. I'll probably have a lot more deeper analysis of the story. I'll have a lot more structure, maybe even have a script and stuff like that. But this is sort of my first video, so this is sort of me dipping my toes in the waters, for lack of a better word. I'm not really good at speech or, again, communicating my thoughts effectively. Anyway, so this right here is just a little practice for me. Excuse me. This will be a practice. This will be a practice video for me. I'll post it on the internet, and I'll see what the feedback is, and if there's anyone that has any suggestions for improvements or ideas that we share a mutual interest in. If I didn't wear that out properly, then I'm sorry about that. Again, I'm not really good at speech or communication very well, so I'll get better as we go along, or further along. But anyway, this will be my first ever YouTube video. So what I'm gonna try to do today, to the best of my ability, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be great, but I'm gonna try my best to explain why I love Death Note. I watched Death Note a few years ago. I watched Death Note a few years ago for the very first time, and it blew me away at how awesome it was. I don't want to overinflate my intelligence, for lack of a better word, but I consider myself to be analytical or logical to a certain degree, and Death Note is really analytical and logical, in my opinion. It is definitely one of those kinds of animes. Anyone who's seen anime in general knows that, like, anime typically isn't like that. It's a lot more fantasy setting. It's a lot more fantasy setting. But what separates Death Note from those kinds of animes is that Death Note is there's a couple of elements in Death Note that, if you took those elements out, it would be akin to a real world story. Take Naruto or Dragon Ball Z, for example. Those are two fantasy settings with two different magic systems. So it's completely different, or I won't say completely different, but it's different. Death Note has a few fantasy elements to it, but for the most part, it's grounded in a realistic setting. The theme of Death Note is about justice and morality, and, in my opinion, unchecked power. The main character of the show, the protagonist, his name is Light Yagami. He finds a notebook called the Death Note. He just so happened to found it. He was very lucky to have found this notebook. Any normal human could have found this notebook, but he just so happened to have picked it up. And with this notebook comes the power to kill somebody by only knowing their name and by imagining their face. And so with like this is an extremely powerful, lethal weapon. And Light Yagami, he tested out for the first 2 times. He thinks it's a prank, so he doesn't really take the notebook seriously or the implications. But lo and behold, Light Yagami tries it on 2 separate occasions, and he ends up killing 2 different people. And when Light Yagami, ponders with this, he rationalizes it in his head that the power was bestowed on him by fate, and that he has an inherent responsibility to sacrifice his mind and his soul to make the world a better place. And to do that, his mindset is to get rid of the world's major criminals, or to be really all of the criminals, for lack of thereof, and all evil people. So, Light Yagami, he does what he intends to do. He writes down so many names. Over like in the story, it says it's over 100. Over 100 of the world's most major criminals were killed by heart attacks. The Death Note is a very versatile weapon. It's very funny to say, but it's a very versatile weapon. And the way I say that is that you can control and manipulate the deaths of people in a handful of ways. You can control their times of death. You can control how they die, and I believe I could be wrong, but I think those are the 2 major elements. You can control how they die, and when they die, and you can also control their actions to a realistic degree. And Death Note further explains that. But anyway, so the reason why Light Yagami was able to get this notebook in the first place is because there was a Shinigami realm where Shinigami, or gods of death, exist, and one of the gods of death, his name is Ryuk, and he's the owner of this Death Note. And he's sitting in the Shinigami realm, and the anime shows the Shinigami realm to be a desolate wasteland. It's a really depressing setting, and Ryuk is he's bored there. He's an immortal, or not. He's semi-immortal, and the show will further explain that. I'll try not to go into details about that just yet, maybe in a future video, but he is semi-immortal, and the power and the Death Note is what extends his life. So Ryuk has been in this Shinigami realm for an extended period of time. It's not quantifiable to a human lifespan, because these gods of death are semi-immortal. So Ryuk is very bored. He's in a very depressing setting, and his way of curing his boredom is by dropping the notebook into the human world. And the anime kind of shows in the very first episode, in the human world, Light Yagami. So I don't know. I'm sorry what I was spelling, but so in the very first episode, it shows Ryuk in the desolate wasteland, and Light Yagami. He's also a bored high school student, and he's walking home, and in the background you can hear a couple of murder, or a couple of crimes that have taken place, a couple of murders, and Light Yagami, the main character of the show, the protagonist, and Ryuk, they both come to the same conclusion that both of their dimensions are rotten. So anyway, so Ryuk drops the notebook, Light picks it up, Light tries it out for the first couple of times due to his curiosity, and whenever he confirms the validity of the Death Note's power, he has he has a moral inner conflict within himself because he murdered 2 people and he does not know how to process that. But he ends up rationalizing with himself, that he ends up rationalizing and justifying it within himself that like those people deserve to die, and that the death note was bestowed upon him by fate, and that it's his moral imperative to rid the world of the world's most deadliest criminals, or the world's most evil people. And so okay, so I caught myself. I almost explained the show. I almost started explaining the show. I almost started rambling, so excuse me. But anyway, so fast forward, we're introduced to the protagonist of the show. Not protagonist, the antagonist. His name is L. He is the world's most renowned detective. Let me try to explain this out right. He's a very antisocial person. Nobody has ever seen his face. Nobody knows his real name, which is very convenient for the story, as Light Yagami is not able to kill him without knowing his name or his face. So Light Yagami has the power to kill anyone whose name he knows and their face he's seen. He has the power to kill anyone with that notebook. But given the circumstances of the story, L doesn't reveal his name or his face, so he's able to compete with Light Yagami to bring him to justice. He's the world's most renowned detective. So him and Light Yagami ends up like the whole story ends up being a major cat and mouse series with Light Yagami trying to outsmart and outmaneuver L, the detective, trying to catch him and bring him to justice. When I said earlier that the show is very analytical and logical, it really feeds into that with the whole murder mystery, and it's a truly fascinating show. Without me getting the details, there's a lot of pretty interesting intelligence feeds by both characters, by other characters in the show. The writing in the show is really good. It's very structured. The logic is very sound. For me, it's easy to follow through, and for me, it's very interesting. It is beyond interesting. What else? Oh yeah, so the theme. So the theme of the show is about justice and morality. And we sort of have to juggle with these concepts because what Light Yagami is doing is a net positive towards the world. Because what Light Yagami is doing is he's killing evil people. He's killing the world's most deadliest criminals. So what he's doing for the world is a major net positive, but his ways of going about it is conventionally evil. And L trying to be L sort of dances around the law, and it's further explained in the show. L sort of let me try to word this out right. Light Yagami is not inherently good or evil. Light Yagami is not inherently good or evil, and L is not inherently good or evil. It's sort of nuanced. I don't know how to explain. I mean, I'll try to explain it more better in a future video. This is sort of my test run. Oh crap, 14 minutes. So I'll try to speed this up. Excuse me. But yeah. So in the story, you have to juggle with is what Light Yagami is doing, is what he's doing right or wrong, and is his way of going about it right or wrong. And without me going too deep into the show, I'll stop myself. I'll stop myself right there. It's a very nuanced argument. It's a very nuanced argument between two major characters. You got people supporting what Light Yagami does. His nickname, like the criminal nickname, because he does not go around as Light Yagami, they call him Kira. They call Light Yagami Kira. So the people in the story, they're sort of juggling whether or not what Light or what Kira is doing is morally right or wrong, and it's a very interesting thing to consider, very interesting topic to discuss about morality and justice. It's for me, it's very interesting. I love the moral arguments there for both parties, for Light Yagami and L. Some people can support Light Yagami, some people can support L. Some people can call Light Yagami good or evil. Some people can call L good or evil. And for me, it's very fast. It's a very fascinating show. They do an awesome. Well, they do a really good job with the characters. And I say really good job instead of like an amazing job because the creator of the show specifically states that like his main intent for the show isn't for characterization or for character drama because it would slow down the pacing of the show. But his main intent for the show was the cat and mouse chase, the murder mystery, the psychological thriller. So that's the main intent of Death Note. Even though they don't really talk too deeply about Light Yagami or L or other characters extremely. The characters are still really, very well written, in my opinion. Very interesting characters. So before I forget, I have a really bad habit of talking really fast. So if at any point in this video, if I'm talking too fast for anyone to understand, please let me know, and I'll watch this video in the future, and I will work on my delivery, my speech, not talk so fast. This is my first ever video again, so this is a little test run, a little practice, so it's a work in progress. Anyway, so the point of it, okay, so let me see. Okay, so with it being a murder mystery and with it being a psychological thriller, the point of view of the show is third person. It's third person omniscient. You get to know about you get to know what every character is thinking about during the entire show. You know what Light Yagami is thinking at all points of the show. You know what L is thinking at all points of the show. You know about what other side characters are thinking about. It's very like they don't try to hide what they're thinking or what their intents or what their motives are. They make sure that is always explained throughout the show, and it benefits the murder mystery part. So as far as all of the elements of the story goes, I think I've covered it all. So I'll try to wrap this up pretty quick. But as far as my thoughts on the show and why I love Death Note, it's probably one of the most well-written shows in all of anime, in all of manga. It's one of the most popular animes and mangas of all time. In my opinion, if I wanted to introduce someone to anime or manga, I would choose one of three shows. I would either choose Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, or Death Note. Dragon Ball Z is pretty easy to follow in my opinion. Naruto is really good on the characterization, but for Death Note, it's really good for well written. For its Death Note, what makes Death Note stand out is that it's very well written. It's very well written. The logic is sound. It's very analytical, and it's grounded in a fairly realistic setting. Dragon Ball Z and Naruto are based in fantasy settings with magic systems, and I said this before. I know I said this in the video, so I'm repeating myself. So this will be something I'll work towards in the future. Again, this is my first ever video practicing, so please excuse me. I think I covered all my bases. Death Note is one of the most well-written shows in all of anime and all of manga. It's my favorite anime. And I would highly suggest it to anybody, anyone who's never tried anime, or anyone who looks at anime as a really weird taboo media. Try Death Note. Try Death Note. If I could try to talk you into watching one anime, one Japanese cartoon, as some would say, try Death Note. Try Death Note. You would love it. It's only 37 episodes. It's 20 episodes apiece. I believe I covered all my bases. So that's it for this video. I'm gonna work towards I'm gonna work towards being better at this. I'll see where this goes. I'll see what kind of feedback I get. But this is my first ever YouTube video, and this is why I love Death Note. It's my favorite anime of all time. It's my favorite anime ever. So thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for sticking around this long if you did. And if you want to support me, all the YouTubers say click the like button, subscribe, etc., etc. You don't gotta do it. I mean, if you do that, it's pretty cool. But I mean, I can't force you. So if you'd like to do that, that'd be pretty cool. But don't feel obligated. But anyway, that's all I have to say. So I'll try to keep myself from rambling. So anyway, y'all have a nice day. God bless.